Hello, geometry students. Hopefully you have had a chance to look at this problem now. If not, Mr. Hazen, please pause the video. But anyways, before we get started, I want to give you a brief rundown of how this day is going to work. First off, I'm going to walk you through this problem. So hopefully you're able to get the correct answer, but if not, please pay attention and try it again after you watch the video. After that, Mr. Hazen is going to pass out an assignment for you. This will be section 8-6, practicing problems using the law of cosines. Now, when you get that sheet, I would first like you to complete problems 1, 2, and 5, and I want you to check your answers with Mr. Hazen before you move forward to any other problems, because those three problems represent the simpler cases of using law of sines, and I would like you to make sure you get those before moving on to the more difficult side cases, like we're about to do in this example. The whole front side of that worksheet is going to be assigned and due, but you have all class period to work on it, so that should give you a pretty good jump start on it for the weekend. So without any further ado, let's get started and let's look at how we're going to solve this problem. So first off, let's remember our equation for the law of cosines. And again, I don't want you to get bogged down with these variables. Try not to worry so much about the b, c, and a and what your equation looks like. Focus more on the overall feel of the equation and the pieces that should go in the specific spots. For example, this a squared right here, don't think of that as an a, just think of that as the side opposite of the angle we're using. We want to find angle t, so that a squared right there has to be the side opposite of that. That's 7.1. So if we start to write our equation, we're going to get 7, disappeared, we're going to get 7.1 squared equals, and again, b squared and c squared, don't get bogged down about what b is and what c is. Those are just the other two sides. So we're going to get 4.4 squared plus 6.7 squared minus 2 times, again, it's b and c, but don't get bogged down by that. I've said the word bogged a lot, but that's okay. Don't get bogged down by the b and the c. Again, just notice that they are the other two sides that are not across from the angle we are looking at. So we're going to get 4.4 and 6.7. Notice all of those are being multiplied together. And then finally, we need to take the cosine of the angle we're looking for, which is t, and we don't know what that is. So when we don't know what an angle is and it is stuck inside of our cosine function as the argument of the cosine function, we need to use inverse trig. So we're going to have to use the inverse cosine to solve this. But before we can do that, I need to manipulate this equation so that it says cosine of t equals blah blah blah. So to do that, notice that we have two pieces essentially to the right side of this equation. We've got this 4.4 squared plus this 6.7 squared. Think of that as one quantity, one term. We have that term minus this whole product here. 2 times 4.4 times 6.7 times the cosine of t. We want to isolate this cosine of t, so in order to do that, notice we're going to have to divide by that bit right there. But before we do that, since we have subtraction here between these two terms, we should get rid of that 4.4 squared plus 6.7 squared first. So to do that, let's just go ahead and subtract 4.4 squared and 6.7 squared from both sides. I'm just writing it out right here. You don't need to write it out unless that helps you, and then please do. So on the left, we're going to get 7.1 squared minus 4.4 squared minus 6.7 squared equals negative 2 times 4.4 times 6.7 times the cosine of angle t. And notice that I haven't typed 7.1 squared into my calculator. I haven't typed 4.4 squared into my calculator, nor have I typed anything else into my calculator. Right now, I am solely manipulating this equation. I would recommend that you do the same. I want you to get in the habit of using your calculator in a more streamlined fashion rather than entering each piece individually, rounding each piece individually, and getting more and more error as you go along. So try to do that with this problem. Even if you already solved it and didn't do that, I would like you to try that now. So go ahead and try to get ahead of me and see if you can do this. So now notice at this point, if you look at the right side of the equation, there's our cosine t. We need to isolate it. It's currently being multiplied by -2 times 4.4 times 6.7. So divide by that entire quantity on both sides. Divide by -2 times 4.4 times 6.7 on the right. Divide by it on the left. -2 times 4.4 times 6.7, all in the denominator. And now we're going to get on the left side, I'm just going to leave it as it is currently written. Look at that. I just got to paste it there. That's nice. Technology. So I'm going to leave that there. And on the right, since I've got the same thing in the numerator as I do in the denominator right there, those are going to eliminate each other, and I'm going to be left with the cosine of t, which is what I wanted, because now I can take the inverse cosine on both sides. If I do that, and you look at the right side of the equation, the inverse cosine of the cosine of t, well, inverse cosine and cosine of t eliminate each other, so we are going to be left with t on the right side, and on the left side, I need to take the inverse cosine of that entire expression there. Now, it may seem like that's going to be really ugly and difficult to do in your calculator, but it's actually not at all. You enter it pretty much exactly like you see it. All you need to think about is you need to make sure that you put in an extra set of parentheses around your numerator and around your denominator. But other than that, you can enter it exactly as you see it. So, on your calculator, go ahead and do second cosine to get the inverse cosine function. It should look like that on your calculator at this point. And then give yourself a first set of parentheses. So open that parenthesis and then do 7.1 squared minus 4.4 squared minus 6.7 squared. Close your parenthesis. Hit your division button. Open another parenthesis and type -2 times 4.4 times 6.7. Close your parentheses for the denominator. Close your parentheses for the inverse cosine function. And that will be your value for t. If you have entered that in correctly, as you see it right there, you should find that the measure of angle t, can't write, measure of angle t is 76.424 degrees. So hopefully you got that. At this point, Mr. Hazen will be passing out your assignment. I would like you to work on that for the remainder of the period, and we'll see how far you get. Good luck. Have a wonderful time with Mr. Hazen. Thank you, Mr. Hazen, for your help today. I hope the class is wonderful for you. And I will see you all on Monday. Have a terrific Friday and a terrific weekend.